So there I was, scrolling Twitter. Yeah, I know, first mistake. Twitter is a mental illness, and unfortunately, I am mentally ill. Anyways, it was there I saw a take that truly confounded me, as in this was a revelation, or specifically, whatever the most evil, negative, or otherwise disturbing connotation of the word revelation is. This is like stumbling into one of those 20,000 chapter self-insert fanfictions at 4 in the morning levels of what the fuck did I just read? Hytale is just modded Minecraft. I was flabbergasted. I was abhorred. Listen, I get it. You can't really see it on my face, but I was fucked up, okay? Trust. At first I thought this had to be rage bait, and as a proud baiter myself, how could I fall victim to such low-tier propaganda? But then I remembered the golden rule. Always consider in any disagreement that maybe you are the one who's wrong. So, begrudgingly, I had to ask myself, is Hytale just modded Minecraft? No, wrong, negative, die 10,000 years in the darkest, deepest pit of hell for you. Thank you for watching. Okay, fine. Is Hytale just modded Minecraft? To properly answer this question, we're gonna need to answer two other questions first. Is block game a genre, and what is modded Minecraft? Alright, I know that second one sounds really stupid, but hold on, just let me cook. But first, let's talk genre. What is a genre? Frankly, I don't have the budget for the whole history course, but essentially, one day we figured out two important things. When something works, it works pretty well, and realistically, there's only so many games you can make before they start collectively being featured in 4-hour retrospective video essays. And so, long story short, we got game genres, categories that describe games that share similar core mechanics while offering completely unique experiences. And you know, the first example I was gonna give was RPG, but considering every other game nowadays is an RPG, I genuinely don't know how to describe it as a genre. So I'm not sure why I included this in the script. Anywho, that brings us to the crux of the question. For Hytale to be described as modded Minecraft, it must be, at some level, a ripoff of Minecraft. But for it to have as many differences from Minecraft as it does, and still be a Minecraft clone, block game must not be a genre. So, is it? Well, if Google is to be believed, maybe? On the surface, I feel like it's kind of impossible not to accept block game as its own genre, considering that Minecraft is far from the only successful one, and it wasn't actually even the first one. But due to its sheer overwhelming success, some people have the implication that it owns the idea of my world being made out of Lego. So whether or not other games doing that constitutes clone or genre is the question, but here's the thing, I don't actually have to argue this. Instead, let me introduce you to fighting game. You've probably played at least one fighting game in your life. At bare minimum, you've touched Brawlhalla, or God forbid, turned yourself into the flight risk that is a Smash player. But for those of you who have delved deeper, braved the harsh wastes of traditional fighters, this whole argument might seem really strange to you, because fighting games exist in a genre where most of them share the core concept, character archetypes, inputs, general HUD functionality, stage systems, and gameplay nuances that allow someone to pick up a game they've never played before and be able to do relatively well. And these are games which are still extremely unique and, even within the relatively more niche community that is the FGC, appeal to entirely different groups of players. And if you're telling me that fighting games can be allowed to share all of the mechanics that they do and still be a genre, I think block games can get the pass. But obviously, all of that is besides the point. All the potential nuance in the world doesn't matter if you don't use it. If I make a fighting game that's just Tekken, then fighting games being a genre doesn't stop it from being a Tekken clone. But my point is that block games can qualify as a genre, so Hytale isn't cooked just by existing. Which brings us to question 2. What is modded Minecraft? I know I already made the joke earlier about this question sounding really stupid, and to be fair, it does sound kind of stupid, but it actually makes more sense than you first might think. The first and most obvious answer to this question is probably, well, it's Minecraft with mods. Okay, sure. Here you go. This is modded Minecraft.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill.
Alright, I know asking which mods is kind of an asshole, so here's a real question. What version? Oh yeah, because Minecraft not only has multiple active versions, but these versions come with entirely separate mod ecosystems. Here's another question. Which mod loader? Oh yeah, because over the years Minecraft has had multiple concurrently popular mod loaders, because Mojang refuses to give Java Edition official modding API to this day. And even if you could decide on a universal standard for these things to use as a comparison, are we talking about modded Minecraft or modded Minecraft injected with the 1,000 performance mods or so that it needs to convince you that this is a game still actively developed and maintained in 2025? Are we playing throw it all in the mod folder and hope it works, or are we playing meticulously configuring and fixing issues over the span of countless hours just to have a mod pack that runs with some semblance of stability? So the Minecraft modding community is very, very impressive, and this impressiveness has nothing to do with Minecraft. In fact, it is in spite of Minecraft. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure Hytale's modding is going to have its own shit list of issues, considering that it's literally unfinished. But to try to say that it's going to be just modded Minecraft seems to imply that you have forgotten what modded Minecraft actually entails. This is like your house burning down and forever thinking that any person who lights candles is a pyromaniac. Honestly, I think Simon's own response to this rhetoric really puts it best. Sure, you could call Hytale modded Minecraft, as inaccurate and reductive as such a statement is, but ultimately, even if it were true, it would be true about Hytale as base game. And this is a game built from the ground up with modding in mind. We're talking coughing baby versus humble hydrogen bomb comparison here. Ultimately, yes, this entire video was a little pointless, because anyone who actually thinks this isn't thinking much at all. But I mainly wanted to talk about it because, let's face it, this is a comparison basically every block game is subjected to. As I said earlier, Minecraft is not the first or only, but it is the most successful block game to ever exist, and it's not even close. And beyond that, it's one of the most successful games to ever exist. Games like Hytale and Minecraft.
Vintage story. I said vintage story. I said vintage story. There was no misspeak here. And you can't prove it.
Can have all the quality and merit they want, and still, some can only consider them with Minecraft in mind. And I really hope that... Actually, no. No, I wanted to have some kind of deep, hard-hitting, maybe even an emotional moment to serve as the climax and thesis of this video. But, yeah, no, I got nothing. No, Hytale isn't modded Minecraft. Thank you for watching.